Yeah, Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Back at you with my boys Vlad and Barry. What's good, yo?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we are. Excited and ready for another episode. On to episode 38.
Episode 38, Brandon Bolden.
Yes. Kurt Schilling.
Yeah, legendary.
Yep.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
James Conner.
James Conner for the Steelers right now?
Yep.
Right, that should be for our buddy Eddie Rodriguez in Philly,
yes,
right?
Big shout out to Eddie. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go. As always, please follow us on social media. We're on social media, Instagram, ProFans_sports. We're on Twitter.com/ProFansports, Facebook.com/ProFansports. And if you like to watch, we're on YouTube as well. Please like and subscribe to this channel. When you do that, it helps us out tremendously. So the more you like and subscribe to us, the better the YouTube algorithm will work for us. So if you like to watch, again, it's youtube.com/ProFansports. We drop every Tuesday morning on all major platforms, and we drop videos every Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. And before we start the show, we do have an announcement. This Saturday, December 12th, 2020, we, Pro Fan Sports Podcast, will be at Opportunity Winter Market at 76 Bishop Allen Drive, Cambridge, Mass, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., selling our Pro Fan Sports merch. So if you want to get a shirt or a hoodie, a coffee mug, a bottle, even a mask, you know what I'm saying? You can come get it. We'll be there. So, I hope you guys can show up. You guys get the time to come through and chill with us for a little bit. Get to know us, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of you guys hear us over the net and on social media. You guys never get to see us in person. So come through and to see us, you know what I'm saying? And, in Saturday news, we wanted to say rest in peace to Grandma Ebua, Barry's grandmother. So, rest in peace. And as always, we're going to go into the NFL. Barry, would you like to say a couple words about your grandma, man?
Yeah. It was, it's sad and devastated and heartbreaking, to hear that she had, passed away. And that she was, suffering a, bunch of health issues that, that she had to go through. And, it's kind of, tough, for me to, talk about it since it just, recently happened and still trying to process and sink in. It's been a while since, I've last seen her. It was about 10 years ago, the last time I went to Africa and saw her. She was from, Cameroon, which is in West Africa. That's the country that my family's from. So she, was a very, good, hardworking woman. She was, very, kind and had a good heart and always, genuine to everybody that she met. So, it was definitely had, a few good memories from my times being over in Africa from over there. But I could tell from the pictures that I saw that she was suffering a lot when, her in her last days. So I think that right now she's in a better place and she's able to now just rest and not have to suffer anymore and go through the pain and, in the struggles that she was going through. before she passed. So definitely, hope she rests peacefully. And I know she'll be watching above me and the rest of my family, and she'll always be with me and with us. Pretty much as long as we're here. So thanks for letting me have the time to speak. About my grandmother's passing. I greatly appreciate you guys for giving me that opportunity.
For sure, man. Condolences, man.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Condolences there.
Thanks, Vlad. Appreciate it, man.
2020, man. A lot of people losing a lot of people out there. So stay strong, folks. And we're gonna go into
for sure. Gotta stay strong.
Right. We're gonna go into the schedule the agenda for today's show. As always, we're gonna go into the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. We're gonna do some soccer. We have some boxing stuff for you guys. And first, we're gonna attack the NFL, man. So, yesterday, man, yesterday at 4:25 p.m. the Patriots played the Chargers. And I think in the last episode,
Sunday for the people that are listening,
right? For the people that are listening, Sunday. And last time we spoke, we spoke pretty highly of the team that they faced. Even though their record is what it is, we didn't think what happened yesterday was going to happen. I think none of us here could have predicted what happened yesterday. You know what I'm saying? If you say you knew this was going to happen, you're a liar. You know what I'm saying? What happened is the Patriots won against the Chargers 45-0. We saw a lot of things in this game, man. We saw some stuff on offense, defense, special teams. When you watch the game, like in your view, what happened in the game? What were the keys to winning in the game? And do you think the Patriots can keep winning the way they've been playing?
Well, I predicted that was going to happen.
Wait, you predicted there was going to be a blowout?
I told you guys we're going to win 6 games straight.
Yes. That you did. That for sure. Listen.
I'll give you that one. You did say that.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy your prediction is coming through so far. You know what I'm saying? I have no problems. I have no issues.
Still got a long way to go, but so far it's looking good.
I think this is Belichick's fine coaching. I think Belichick doesn't have Tom Brady anymore. Tom Brady used to mask a lot of issues for the team, and I think Belichick is winning with all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and special team. The last game against the Chargers, I think the defense played really well, shut down a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks have almost no chance against Bill Belichick, except for a few.
Like Mark Sanchez?
Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, a few of them have gotten lucky, but when you're a rookie quarterback, you're facing the Bill Belichick defense, you're most likely going to lose. And you're most likely going to look bad at it. And that's what happened yesterday. Even though I didn't think it was a bad. I didn't think he played that bad. I thought they had some played on offense, but I think the Bill Belichick's defense was just overpowering for Justin Herbert. And I just want to give credit to Gunnar Olszewski, with the return, the punt return, and the touchdown from Stidham. And the defense played well. I thought we had great rush on the front line. I thought it was another game it was another good game for the defensive line. And it was also another good game. It was a good game for our defensive back. And also, it was a good game for the special team. The block kick, and the punt return. And last week we had the game last week against the Cardinals. The Cardinals, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. It was a very similar game. The defense played well. The offense contributed some, but the special team had to score in order for us to win. So I think it's Bill Belichick's coaching trying to play complementary football, having all three part of the team play together to get us a win. So can we keep winning like this? It's gonna be hard, but if anybody can do it, it's Belichick. You know what I mean? The plays on special team, we can say, hey, part of it is luck. You know what I mean? You can plan it, but you have to be lucky to get those touchdowns. So, but nevertheless, nobody, like John said, nobody thought we were gonna produce a shutout, and we did. It was impressive.
That's a fact. We actually got a shutout this season.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
I didn't think we would
For
do
real.
that at all.
It was impressive.
Facts.
It was truly impressive.
Yeah, no, this was certainly a impressive victory that we saw from the Patriots yesterday. This was by far their best performance as a team that they've had this season to this point. It was shocking to me, at least, that they played this well and that the Chargers played that badly. I think definitely a lot of it had to do with, coaching and, coming up with the game plan that Belichick did. But certainly I think, some of it, or not some of it, a good part of it was execution. I thought their, execution pretty much on all three phases was really good, and they executed at a high level as to where the Los Angeles Chargers did not at all. There was certainly, made right from the start. They took it right to the Chargers on that first drive, ran the football right down their throat, with the running backs and Cam Newton, and kind of set the tone offensively, and them, playing, physical ground game and establishing the running game and going for that fourth down that they did, and converting that, and having trust in the offense that they were going to be able to execute and convert that fourth down to keep the drive going, and to be able to get a touchdown, in which they did on that drive, was definitely big. That's what got the game started for them on the right foot, and then the defense and special teams took it from there. The defense was, they were phenomenal. Yesterday, that was spectacular what we saw from the Patriots defense, to shut out that offense. As much talent as we spoke about last week that the Chargers have on the offensive side of the ball, that is incredible that they were able to do that. Everybody made plays on all three levels: defensive line, linebackers, secondary. Everybody did their job and did their thing and did their part to help contribute to this win. They got a couple of picks. Chase Winovich got one, and Mr. INT, J.C. Jackson, got another one.
Back on the board.
Yes,
Back
sir.
on the board.
That streak. You starting up another streak.
I just want to cut you off real quick, Barry. That
Go
pick,
ahead, bud. No worries.
that pick by Winovich, he looked like the receiver out there.
He did.
Like
Absolutely.
the way he waited, because he anticipated that throw, and the way he caught it, he literally, like, he looked like the receiver out there.
Yeah, no, he certainly did, but then again, that was like a dumb throw. I don't know why he threw that ball, and and what he was seeing on the coverage that made him throw that ball across the field. Usually when you throw across the field and across your body like that, more times than not, good things don't happen. So I shouldn't, but nevertheless, that was a great play by Winovich. I was impressive for outside linebacker, and to be able to make that kind of interception, because we don't see that too often. Certainly, I thought that what really was the most impressive was the execution of the special teams, especially on that, punt return that Gunnar Olszewski had. Slater threw a great block to be able to give him some room to, get going and get upfield. And then, a few other guys threw good blocks, and then pretty much he did the rest and, made the kicker miss, made a nice move to, juke the kicker, and he was gone. So that was definitely impressive to see them get a punt return for a touchdown. And thankfully this week they didn't have it called back. So I think they learned, from last week, on how to execute a punt return successfully without any penalties. But I think last week was also the turning point for the special teams, because I think that's what got their confidence up and got them going and gave them that boost was, having that punt return. Even though it got called back, they were still able to execute that well enough so they knew what to do, in order to get a, Gunnar in the open field and then let him do his thing and, make guys miss once he gets to that point. But certainly, I think, as far as whether this is sustainable or not, or whether they can keep winning like this, I'm not sure, because they're going to be facing some better, pass, defenses or defenses in general. So they're going to need more
We're
from
not passing.
passing game. I mean, they have to pass the ball more in order to, when I get that, they're running the football a lot, in which they should be doing, staying committed to the running game and using the running backs and Cam Newton to run the ball, because that's what they're best at doing offensively. But they're definitely going to need more production from the passing game and more production from the receivers if they're going to continue to win games moving forward. Because, these teams are going to, be ready for the running game and, stack the box and plan to stop the run and force Cam Newton to, beat them, with the passing game and with his arm. And he's, yet to done that yet. He's had some good passing games, but they haven't, unfortunately, won those games that he's thrown the ball well. So they're going to need to figure out a way to be able to be effective, balanced, and be effective both in the pass and run game at the same time, and kind of keep the defenses, guessing and on their toes as far as what the Patriots are going to do. And then the other two phases, they just got to keep doing their thing and keep doing what they're doing. And if they do that at a high level, this team should be able to be successful and put themselves in a good position to be competitive and win these games, win these 4 games that they have left of the season.
What we've seen from them is, they've been playing pretty well offensively. Justin Herbert's been able to throw it pretty good. But it's all been predictable. Keenan Allen's one of the top targeted weapons in the league, so everything goes through him. And you can see that in the game, they didn't make any adjustments. He kept trying to feed Keenan Allen a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think Keenan Allen had at least 10 targets in the game yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those weren't connecting. You saw, one of the worst special teams in the league. We played yesterday, and the Patriots are always one of the top, special teams units in the league always, and I listen to Josh McDaniels, and one of the things he always says is he knows the Chargers a lot, very well. They don't change very much. He knows exactly what they're going to do on both offense and defense. You know what I'm saying? So from that, I took away that they were pretty much prepared for all the stuff that they would probably see in the game. And, you saw that Justin Herbert kept throwing the ball throughout the game. Even though it wasn't working, they never went away from it. Even like in the last quarter, it's like, yo, why we throwing? There was so many overthrown balls. There was so many balls that were nobody was around, and also what you saw was a Patriots defense that's coming into its own, since Stephon Gilmore came back. They've been getting better and better. A Lawrence Guy, who's in the middle of the line, has been getting better and better. And with Adam Butler, they're creating havoc. And as Vlad and I were talking about before, Justin Herbert, man, the rookie quarterback, is they rarely win against us. And, when they do, it's not like, a blowout or anything like that. So, I think the Patriots went in there and did what they had to do. Now, did I think it was going to be 45-zip? Absolutely not. I'm thinking it was going to be like 27-21 or something like that, I mean, the keys to winning was obviously the running game because we're the top running team in the league. You know what I'm saying? And I think we had more yards than we usually average in yesterday's game. You saw Cam Newton ran it 12 times in the first half alone, and it looked like it was intentional. I saw that they had a couple wrinkles in there. They had Damian Harris catching the ball. He wasn't, to start the drive. He was in a wild card. What is it? Wildcat, formation. And I like that a lot, because it looked like they were being really creative. But, the Patriots didn't do much else in the first quarter, other than the special team stuff. We didn't do much on offense. It's just, the Chargers are very, very inept. And, I actually thought Anthony Lynn was going to be gone, as of today, because that was the worst loss they've had in their franchise history, 45-zip. And one thing I always remember about him is when we played him in that playoffs, and we just like ripped off 14 points, and he's like, it's too easy. Like yesterday, it looked real easy, no matter what we did, and that blocked punt return before the half, that was like a backbreaker right there. That was the game. They could have went into the locker room and came back, maybe had some sense of confidence, but I feel like that block and that touchdown deflated their whole the whole game for them, and then it just looked like they didn't make any adjustment even coming out of the half either. They couldn't run the ball, they couldn't pass the ball, they couldn't screen the ball, they couldn't do anything yesterday, man. And
nothing. They did nothing well.
Yeah, I think that's a team that definitely needs to reevaluate what they got, because they got a really good quarterback. And, it sucks because I started him on fantasy, because he's actually –
one of my didn't do nothing for me.
Right. He's been one of the best quarterbacks, in fantasy, for the last several games, The guy has thrown for, 300 yards the last 5 games, has scored a touchdown in every game he's played so far, and he didn't get shit yesterday, And the other guy I had, but listen to this, the other guy I had to replace him if he couldn't go was Carson Wentz. So what choice did I have? But to go with Herbert as the starter there.
Man. That was a tough game for you for quarterbacks for your fantasy team. Sorry to hear that, John. That's about it.
As far as can the Patriots keep winning how they've been playing, I mean, they have so far, so I don't see why they can't do it, unless they face one of those teams that's going to score in bunches, and we got to keep up with that. And, we definitely can't keep up with that, playing the run the whole time. And, right now our offense is not very diverse. We don't have too much things going on. We're just out muscling people, and our offensive line is getting the job done, so I'm glad that's happening.
I do have to say, I don't think we can keep winning if Cam Newton is not throwing more than 69 yards or 89 yards, whatever the hell he did yesterday. It's just impossible to win with that little of offense. I'm worried about his job security actually after seeing Stidham out there for a little bit. Not that I think Stidham deserved to be out there because the game was basically over, but I thought it was a little early for Belichick. I feel as though Stidham usually get in there maybe with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but he was out there early, maybe around like 8, 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I thought that was a little bit early.
Yeah, I don't think I had a problem with it. Just because we were 45-0 we were 38 zip,
38.
I don't have
38
I don't have a problem.
zip.
I don't have a problem with it either. I just think it's Cam Newton should be worried
Right. I mean,
because he threw a touchdown.
when
And
Stidham comes out there, man, it looks like a regular what a offense is supposed to be, other than the interceptions that he's thrown.
yeah, that's why it's
But
scary. That's why it's scary.
yeah,
That's why I think it's scary for Cam Newton.
for sure. I think Stidham definitely can make a lot of NFL throws that Cam Newton is not making to this point. But we got to understand too. Stidham's been in on the team for a longer period of time too.
Yeah,
And back to your point, Cam Newton did only throw for 69 yards last week. What do you throw for?
84 last week.
84 last week.
Yeah.
69 this week. But he had more completions this week. And I think the question is like, can Cam Newton? Can he? Is this sustainable? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, is his lack of weapons and throwing ability sustainable?
Well, his lack of weapon, I think some of the quarterbacks could make a little bit more with the weapon he has, but because he's limited with his throwing abilities, his weapons are suffering because of that as well. I just don't think it's sustainable if we cannot throw for 150 yards at least. Make some plays happen, throw 1 or 2 touchdown. The guy have thrown, what is it, 4 touchdown for the whole year? 5 touchdowns.
Whole year.
5 touchdowns the whole year. He has 9 interceptions. Listen, man, I'm rooting for him. I've been rooting for him, but it's not looking good.
Barry, what do you think? Like, is that sustainable to you?
No, it certainly isn't sustainable to me as far as Cam Newton, playing like this on offense in the passing game and not really showing much production in terms of, the yardage that he's thrown for. The yardage definitely has to improve significantly, like drastically. Like even starting next game, even though I know it's going to be tough for him to do that. We'll get into that in a little bit, with a preview of the next game. But certainly he has to do a much better job of, of completing passes down the field, because everything that he's completing is either check downs in the flat, to the running backs, or short, quick routes that are, within 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. So we need to see, him throw like he threw the ball against the Seahawks and against the Texans. Even though they lost those games, he still threw the ball well. So he's shown flashes and shown the capability of being able to throw the football effectively in stretches. He just needs to do that more consistently. Like these games where he's thrown for less than 100 yards, we know damn well you're not going to win football games like that in the NFL, from week to week. That's just not how the game is played, right now. That's it's a passing league and a scoring league. So you need to, be able to throw the football down the field and complete those balls down the field and throw for touchdowns and put points up on the board that way. That's what we're going to need to see moving forward if the Patriots have a really good chance of making a run at the playoffs and to continue to keep winning games at a rate that, we can all feel confident that, this is what they need to do and this is how they need to play, in the passing game in order to be able to, in order to be able to be successful on offense, because sooner or later defenses are going to catch up to that, and they're going to be playing some better defenses coming up. So that he definitely needs to be able to do much more than what he's been doing, or else your guys are right. He's not going to keep his job for much longer, because it was surprised that Jared Pickham, as I like to call him, was actually throwing the football well. He didn't look like Jared Pickham yesterday. He had a few good throws in there, and definitely looked pretty accurate, and his balls looked sharp and came out really well. So
to be honest, he only threw 3 passes.
I was just gonna say that. To be fair, it's like, the guy threw 3 passes.
But I agree with Barry. Those passes look better than Cam Newton's did.
I mean, they look better than Cam Newton's when he came in earlier in the season. You know what I'm saying? It's just he just threw picks. It was bad. But if he didn't throw any picks those games, I guarantee you he's the starter for the Patriots right now.
Possibly.
Potentially, right.
I mean, I agree with you guys. This is definitely not sustainable. Like the weapons, they have been a little better. I think, Cam Newton definitely hasn't been doing very good at getting them the ball. He's actually better with the intermediate passes, more than the short passes, because he throws a lot of them into the ground.
The short passes are either into the ground or they get blocked at the line of scrimmage.
He's better on the passes where you got to throw like 15, 20 yards, because he gets more time in the pocket and he sees where the guy is going. But even then,
but he's not getting much yardage, John.
Right.
Those passes aren't getting much yardage. That's why I'm saying the short passes, even though he's been incomplete in some, he's been hitting some as well. And that's why, when he's been hitting those short passes, he hasn't been getting much yardage on them.
Right.
But I hear what you're saying, though. But if he was hitting the intermediate passes more, he would be getting more yardage. Like the intermediate passes yesterday weren't there. There were a few balls that were thrown to Jacoby Myers and Damari Bird that, Myers had a couple drops, but there were also some poorly thrown balls at intermediate routes that just, he should have connected on that. He wasn't able to.
Right. I mean, he has a higher completion rate with balls 15 plus yards than he does the shorter ones. That's what I'm trying to say. Compared, So, he just needs to get, like, the short stuff, you just need to complete those at a really high rate, at a really high clip, because it's like that's what they're there for. They're check downs, you know what I'm saying? They're like your safety, valves right there. So you should be able to hit those pretty well. He's hit a couple James White screens pretty well, and James White has made some miracles with some of those throws as well, but he definitely needs to get that together. But we do have to give him props on his running. He made history. He's had 3 seasons with 10 touchdowns or more, as a quarterback. That's, he's the first 10 rushing touchdowns. Yeah. And he's the first to do that. So in 2011, which was his rookie year, he scored 14. In 2015, he scored 11. And in 2020, he scored 11 now and counting. So, we got to give him props for that. And he's been putting his body on the line for sure. And, at this point, he really is the best option for our team because we're run heavy. You know what I'm saying? And he helps open stuff up, So we got to give him props for that at least, But we did see a guy score yesterday that, we've been getting on pretty hard. And that's N'Keal Harry. He actually showed up and caught a touchdown, so we got to give him props for that.
Finally, for real, finally.
Right.
About damn time. Shoot, took him long enough.
Right, and then I'm saying congratulations to Bill Belichick because he's won in 50 stadiums now since the Super Bowl era started. Most ever by a coach to do that. So he keeps adding on to his resume. We're talking about playoffs, but we can't even talk about playoffs yet because, one, we got to win out, That's first and foremost. We got to win out. And two, the Ravens, Dolphins. Who else is out there? The Ravens and Dolphins and the Raiders. They gotta start losing games for us to start
To
be
gain
thinking about
some
the
ground,
playoffs.
exactly.
Exactly,
Right,
because right now they have better records than us, so we can't leapfrog them when we're only 500, even though we beat those guys. We need that tiebreaker, but even then, we'd have a tiebreaker against a team that's not even in the playoffs yet. Because they're in the hunt right now.
Right. Well, that Miami game is going to be big because they play Miami in a couple of weeks. So
we need Miami to lose a couple.
Huge game.
We need Miami to lose a couple.
Game against Miami, and
yeah, for
at
sure.
least Miami to win to lose at least another game as well. I know they're playing the Chiefs this week, so they're most likely going to lose that game. But we definitely need to beat Miami when we play them in a couple weeks in Miami, which is going to be a tough game. But hopefully we can handle business that game.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got to get that tiebreaker, right? Because we beat them before. So, hopefully we get it. Hopefully the Chiefs win. Hopefully Tua starts against us because you know what Bill Belichick does with rookie quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A few weeks ago, I heard him say, "Yo, this is a lot easier than I thought." Talking about playing in the league because he won like 3 games, and then he got injured. So I was like, "Well, I guess it's real easy," But that was the recap for the game that just happened. We have another game coming up in a couple of days on Thursday, right? And that's the Patriots. Yeah, quick turnaround. They stayed out there in UCLA in their facilities. So they're playing the Rams, who are 8-4 right now. They're leading the NFC West. Seahawks lost to the Giants on Sunday, which was wild to me.
That's crazy.
Right. But the Seahawks always do some weird stuff where they lose to teams that they shouldn't be losing to,
Right.
It's weird.
Play down to their competition.
Exactly. Right. And I guess the question is I know what Vlad's answer is. Do you think the Patriots can take this game? What are the keys to winning this game? And let's talk about who are some of their most dangerous players and, will the short week help us or hurt us?
Well, you guys already know my answer to that question. But I mean the Rams are doing good. They're 8-4, right? So that's a team is as good as their record. So that's a good team. They have some good weapons on offense. Derek Henderson, and so it's gonna be a tough game for us, I believe. I think that's a game that we definitely might lose. But because we have Bill Belichick, I think we're gonna win this game. I think Kim is gonna have to play better. He's gonna have to throw the ball, which I know he can do, but is he gonna do it without throwing 2 interception? I think that's the question. You know what I mean? Because he's thrown the ball before. He's thrown for 300 yards, 250 yards, but he needs to throw it without throwing an interception. I think we might be able to keep that game short and keep that game low scoring because we've done it against the Rams before in the Super Bowl in these games. But it's gonna be a tough game for sure.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough game without question. As much as I'd like to say that we'll win this game, I don't think we'll win, this game. I just don't think that the Patriots have enough offensively or will do enough offensively and score enough points and move the ball as effectively as they need to against that Los Angeles Rams defense. Because, I mean, their defense, man, you're talking about an elite top 3 defense in the NFL with some big-time playmakers and some of the best defensive players in the league. Like, for example, Aaron Donald. We know how much of a beast that guy is. And you got Rex Havoc. I know he controlled him and did a good job of him in the Super Bowl, but I mean, he's still a force to be reckoned with, and offensive line is going to have our hands full. And then also one of the elite corners in the league, Jalen Ramsey, who's certainly been playing well and been showing that he is one of the best corners in the league, and that he was worth that contract that the Rams gave him, and worth all that money. So he's certainly been playing exceptionally well this year, and has pretty much played hold of his own and shut down all the top receivers in the game, even shut down DK Metcalf a few weeks ago when the Rams played the Seahawks. So, I mean, this is going to be one of those games where if the Patriots do have any chance of winning, the defense is going to have to win it for them, kind of like they did against the Cardinals, where the defense shut the Cardinals offense down and pretty much won the game. It's going to have to be a similar performance to that, because I don't see the offense playing well enough to be able to win. And I don't even see Cam Newton throwing the ball well in this game, because we've said that he has to throw the ball better in order for the Patriots to be able to consistently win games. But this week, I think he's going to struggle, and I think that offense as a whole is going to struggle. So it's going to have to be defense and special teams that comes up big in order for the Patriots to have any chance of winning this game, and then coaching as well. Definitely the Patriots have the edge in that factor with Belichick, against McVay, and we know that McVay absolutely sweats Belichick, and as we saw in the Super Bowl, he kind of gets starstruck when he sees Belichick. So I think, certainly the Patriots have to take advantage of the, coaching factor. And Belichick has to be on his game and then have a really good, game plan for the Patriots to be able to have any chance of winning. But unfortunately, I just don't think that they're going to be able to score enough points to be able to win this game on Thursday night. I think the quick turnaround can hurt us for sure, since we have some guys that are banged up and they don't really get a lot of rest, and a lot of don't get a whole week to be able to recover. So they only get a few days before they have to play another game. So I think, it hurts us more than helps us. But, hopefully those guys will, do what they need to do and to be able to get themselves ready to play on Thursday night. But this is certainly a game where the Patriots have to play a perfect game in order to win. And I just don't think they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, man. I know earlier on during the year, the Rams were actually ranked like top in offense and defense, so I don't know what they are now, because as the weeks go on, the averages change and it just levels out. But I believe they're still tops in offense and defense. So, it's going to be some work cut out for us, What I'm hoping is, Jared Goff, shits the bed again. And, it seemed like you were saying, it's kind of like got starstruck in the Super Bowl. We confused them a lot. And, if anybody can do it, Bill Belichick and that defense can. And they've been playing their best football as of late. So, hopefully they can continue that going forward. And you're right, with McVay, he's definitely starstruck. And I'm hoping that they do some stuff out of character, and do I think they can win the game? Absolutely. We've seen what a lot of the Patriots games have been against some of the best teams in the league this year. A lot of the games that they've won, the Ravens, Cardinals, they're some of the top teams in the league, and we've done what we had to do. Even a Dolphins who's challenging for a number one spot right now, with the Bills and stuff in the AFC East. So, all our wins have come against winning teams. So I won't say we can't win. It's definitely going to be a challenge. Does the quick turnaround help or hurt us? I mean, I think in this instant, it might help us because we're kind of like on a high from the Chargers, But like you said, it's a quick turnaround, and we know what the NFL does, when the body's on the line like that,
Well,
luckily.
good thing is we don't have to travel. We
Right.
already in LA, so I think that's gonna be good for us.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
For sure.
I'll definitely be impressed with the Rams with the Patriots if they can beat the Rams, because you saw the Rams did beat Tampa Bay, a couple weeks back, and they made a big deal about it. But
But we can prepare a team better on a short week than Bill Belichick.
I mean, hey, we're talking about some of the best defensive backs with Jalen Ramsey, but we don't throw the fucking ball anyway. So what are you going to do? But he's good on stopping the run too. So, we definitely got our work cut out for us, man. Barry, you look like you were going to say something.
No question that we have our work cut out for us. Certainly the Rams not only beat the Bucks, but they also beat the Seahawks as well. So they've definitely got some impressive wins and beating some good quality teams. I definitely hear everything that you're saying, John, and you definitely bring up some good points. But I just think that you're right. Even though we don't throw the ball, they're going to need to throw it more this game. And they have Jalen Ramsey. Their secondary is pretty good in the back end as well. As far as the safeties, and then the other starting corner that they have is pretty good. I saw some of that game against the Bucks on Monday night, and they played pretty well on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, hopefully Jared Goff, has another trash and garbage game. But I think that what he'll definitely have a better game this time around, because if you can remember, they didn't have Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl, and that's been his security blanket. So when Cooper Kupp is there, that's when he plays his best, and certainly he's done that this season. He's been a very effective weapon for them, and their go-to guy in key situations, as well as Robert Woods. I think he's another guy that can be able to make plays and and makes big catches as well when they need to. So he's another guy the Patriots secondary is going to have to do a good job of covering and making sure that he doesn't make too many big plays against us. And then they run the football effectively. They have a run by committee, kind of like we do in a sense, but their running game is pretty solid as well. So it's going to have to be another strong defensive performance in order for us to win this game, because the Rams have a better offense, I feel like, than they did when we played in the Super Bowl. So hopefully we'll be able to to execute at a high level, and like we did against the Chargers, because that's what it's going to take in order for the Patriots to win this game and to stop their key playmakers on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, one thing though, if you got Cooper Kupp, you might want to sit him this week if you're on fantasy, because you know what the Patriots do with the number one, weapon. You know what I'm saying? It's like a straight. Listen, I get it, but we just played Keenan Allen, who's one of the tops also. DeAndre Hopkins, he didn't do much against us. You know what I'm saying? We know how to take the top weapon out of the game. They might get some touches, but they're definitely not gonna kill us. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna be the ones to actually win the game. It's gonna be somebody else. We're not even talking about that. It's gonna, like a tight end that's gonna catch the timely balls. You know what I'm saying?
They do have some solid tight ends too,
right?
Like Everett, Higbee. So those guys can effectively make plays too. And we've struggled against tight ends that can be able to receive the ball well and be effective pass catchers. So hopefully our coverage against tight ends is much better than it has been, this year, because it hasn't been very good. But we at least did do a better job in covering Hunter Henry, who's one of the better tight ends in the league. We did, so we're able to pretty much shut him down yesterday. So hopefully we can continue that against the Rams.
That's a fact, man. But yeah, hopefully, man, the Patriots can go in there and handle some business, and some of these other teams can, lose, so that we can get what we need to get. But I think it's definitely, there's definitely possibilities for us. In other Patriots news, Julian Edelman tested positive. Well, did he test positive, or he's on the COVID-19 reserve list? I don't know if he tested positive, but something had to happen.
He's probably around someone that tested positive, probably, or in contact with someone that ended up having a positive COVID test. That's usually what it means if they didn't test positive. So that's probably what the case was with Jules.
Right. Dante Moncrief officially signed to the 53-man roster. He's added some spark, on special teams and some spot receiving so far. And to make room for him, we actually cut a guy we just got for a 7th-round pick, Isaiah Ford. So he had to be the casualty. And, Bill Belichick ain't afraid to cut people that ain't really helping
already,
him.
John? That was fast, man.
He's out of there.
We just picked him up, and boom.
He's out of there.
Gone. Didn't even play yet.
Right. And, Patriots continue making moves for the season because they were awarded linebacker Jack Chichy off waivers from the Tampa Bay Bucks. So those are some Patriots news. Some NFL news, some rescheduled games are being played on Monday, and that's Washington versus the Steelers. Right. And then the Ravens play the Cowboys on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Lamar Jackson, he actually is off the COVID-19 list, and he's slated to return to the game on Tuesday. Some other news, Will Fuller and Bradley Roby both were suspended 6 games for violating the NFL PED policy. In a surprising move, I thought, the whole staff was going to get fired, but Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for the Jets, he got fired today. I felt like this had to get a mention because we spoke about these guys earlier on, when the football season first started and the Patriots were struggling. We were comparing them to the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns, overnight, kind of like have a Patriots-like record for this year so far. They're 9-3, and they've claimed a winning season for the first time since 2007. So congratulations to them.
Wow, that's impressive. That's awesome. Good for them.
Right. And we also like to say congratulations to the people that made the playoff bracket in the Pro Fan Sports Podcast Sleeper League, and, for those who played, period, thank you for participating. We appreciate you. And hopefully we can try and get you some stuff out there. So stay tuned. Maybe we have an announcement or something. Vlad, did you want to give an update on the fantasy?
Yeah, sure. The playoffs started this week. So we had Joe Mazaka. How do you pronounce his name?
Mazeka.
Joe Mazeka got a bye, so he didn't play this week, and Woody Luders got the second bye, so he also didn't play this week. The games I played this week were Rita Fletcher versus Jamari Jones. Rita Fletcher is actually whooping ass right now.
Ooh.
Okay, Rita. All right.
So she's most likely gonna win by the end of this week, and she's gonna be facing Joe Mazaka next week for the semifinals. The next match.
Go ahead. My bad.
The next matchup is Kaz. I think that's one of your boys, John.
Yeah, that's Andy Cazot. He's actually an officer, Cambridge police officer.
Yeah, Andy Cazot versus Kevin, your boy Barry. I forgot his name.
Kevin Tame.
Kevin Tame.
Money.
Andy Cazzo is beating Kevin Tame 102-63. So Andy Cazzo is
man.
Andy Cazzo is gonna move on to face Woody Luders in the semifinals. So it looks like we have a good semifinals coming up, and good luck to those guys.
No, for sure, man. Thanks, Vlad. I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Vlad.
And again, thank you for the players that's been playing, for the Pro Fan Sports merch package, and if you want your own, Pro Fan Sports gear this Saturday, 76 Bishop Allen Drive, pull up. We'll be there. We're selling some stuff, man. So we'll see you there. And that's going to be it for the NFL. It's going to be it for the NFL. We're going to move into the NBA real quick, where, things are moving rapidly right now, right? The season's coming back pretty quick. The first half of the season schedule is now out, is available. So if you follow your team, you can go on their website and get, get their schedule right now, actually. Other NBA news, Russell Westbrook traded to Washington Wizards for John Wall. So I heard a joke actually this week. It was like, yeah, Washington, no. Houston traded for Russell Eastbrook because John Wall is coming from the East, and they kind of have like,
one too. Yep,
right,
yep.
They kind of have like similar styles and stuff, But I feel like John Wall may be a little more of a team player when it comes to that. Maybe a little more efficient, than Russell Wilson, at this stage in their career.
The Westbrook, right.
Right, and I love Russ, man. He's definitely a great player in this league, and he's had his time to shine. Only player to average a triple-double three years in a row, right? That was it.
Yep.
The team kind of like made it possible for him because like you'd see Steven Adams with a rebound right there, and he's like, Russell, get that shit. It's like, and you saw Russell Westbrook hunting for those rebounds, but
so
nevertheless,
on that he was stat padding pretty much.
Come on, man. Nevertheless, he still got it done. Nobody's ever done that before, so you still got to give him his prop.
Doesn't take away from that.
No,
it's a great achievement.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. And something that's never been done in the league. Absolutely.
Right. And for that, Houston actually receives a first-round draft pick. Actually, one of my buddies said something this week, which I actually agreed with. When it comes to Russell Westbrook, he said that Russell Westbrook should be coming off somebody's bench, like a championship bench. And I thought about it, and I'm like, that actually makes sense, because Russell Westbrook is instant offense. He doesn't run well with the first team because he's not a passer. And, with somebody like James Harden, he has the ball in his hands a lot too. And, Russell, you can't be taking 30 shots a game. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if he did come off the bench, he would help out a team tremendous, like a contender. You know what I'm saying? Imagine Russell Westbrook coming off the bench for like, a Nuggets or something.
I think both you and your buddy are nuts.
Yeah?
What
do you think?
Westbrook would ever do that, right?
No, he would never do that. He would never do that.
Yeah, but nah, Russell Westbrook is a first-team player. He's way too expensive. If you put him with the right guys, because he needs to have the ball in his hand. He's the ball hugger. If you put him in a team with another ball hugger, bro, you're creating problem for yourself. You have James Harden that's already a ball hugger. You're putting another ball hugger with him. That's like everybody could have said that wasn't going to work in Houston. If I have Russell Westbrook, the high-energy guy, the leader of the team, nah, that guy is starting for me.
Yeah, but if you have another star that's more efficient, let's say like a Kevin Durant who was on his team, and Russell Westbrook's coming up, pulling up, is like, bro, you have Kevin Durant, and like it doesn't help the team, you know what I'm saying? And that's why he hasn't been so far into the postseason. You can get all the points you want, but like if you're not that efficient and you're taking high volume shots, and the more efficient guys are not taking as much as you, it's just gonna hurt the team.
Last time he was with KD, they went to the Western Conference Final. I think with the right coach, the right environment, I think Russell Westbrook is a starter and will take a team far. Now, there's no way I'm having that guy come off the bench. Too good of a player. Too high energy. Just too much of a leader. Impossible.
And that's why I
Right,
feel like he would
real
be
quick.
great off the bench because he has that high energy, and
I
you
know-
need that guy
Yeah, but
go in.
I just don't. I can't do that.
I guarantee you, in a couple of years, Russell Westbrook will be coming off the bench.
Yeah, when he can be
in
the
a
same
couple
guy
years,
anymore.
but not right now.
When he can be the same guy anymore.
Right,
I mean,
when he's past his prime and not the same player and doesn't have the same ability and play the same way that he's playing right now. Real quick, I just want to ask, do you guys think him and Bradley Beal will do well in that he'll play well in Washington?
I think they will play well, but I think they will play well together. I think Bradley Beal, he's a volume scorer. He can score a lot, and I think they will. But will they go far? I just don't think that Washington team is gonna go far. Period.
Yeah,
I just don't think that. I just don't think that Washington team is that gonna go far. But I think both of them. I think they're gonna make it work.
I think the only way it works is if, Russell Westbrook mentally tells himself you're the secondary player, and creates and opens stuff up for Bradley Beal, and he also has that 3-point specialist they got over there too, with the rookie from last year, Muchamara or something like that. Huchamara, he's like the kid from Japan.
It Bertans, the dude that
Bertrand's. Reds, yes.
Out the bubble, right?
Yes,
right.
You need it because he re-signed with them, and Hachimura, I believe his name is. He's an up and comer too. So he was one of their.
He can
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
I think it works only if Russell Westbrook, puts it in his mind that he's a secondary option and he has to feed the guys around him. Because I feel like, for them to actually make, because they're in the East, for them, they're competing with like the Charlottes, who else are they competing? That's pretty much it. Charlottes, Magics, for like an 8th seed or something like that,
I think they can finish a little higher, possibly. For sure. Maybe like a 6 or a 7. But, I mean, they're definitely a bottom tier playoff team in the Eastern Conference without question. But definitely they're, I think, a legit playoff team, with that backcourt that they have. So, but they definitely need more around those guys if, in order to be a top team in the East, because there's too much talent in the top of the East for them to, either go too far or to be, higher in the standings in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, just to make it clear, Russell Westbrook is probably one of my top 5 favorite players in the league, with his intensity, the way he don't give a damn about nobody. He says, he doesn't like 58 point guards in this league, you know what I'm saying? So he definitely has a demeanor, and I mean, he's a star for sure. In other news in the NBA, the Lakers extended Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Anthony Davis to a 5-year deal, max contract. I believe it's 190 mil, and LeBron to a 2-year extension. I don't know the numbers for LeBron, but he's gonna be there until. You know the numbers?
2000. Yeah, I do know the numbers. So for LeBron, it was 2 years, 85 mil extension. So he is signed until the 2022-2023 season with the Los Angeles Lakers. And rumor has it that he's actually tried to sign that deal because he wants to assure and make sure that he's in the league long enough to be able to play along with his son when his son enters the draft. So, I think that's, what he's looking to do, and why he signed that extension with the Lakers. But, I mean, he can also opt out of it as well, as I'm sure he always has the opt-out option of his deal. So he can opt out and go to any other team, particularly a team that ends up drafting his son if he decides to do that.
Right, and by the end of that deal, he'll be 38. And I mean, with the way he's playing, I think he can play well into. He could be, another Vince Carter, bro. With the way he's playing,
he can definitely be another Vince Carter. I just don't know if he's gonna want to come off the bench. I think once he gets to the point where he has to come off the bench, I can see him retiring.
Man. I mean, he's LeBron. He has more money than God. So, I was going to say, man, if I could get a few mil just to sit on the bench, I'd do it.
LeBron signed $1 billion live deal with Nike.
That's what I'm saying. It's
you think he's saying, another two? Come on.
No, you're right. You're right. He ain't. He's like, no, if I ain't starting, I'm out.
Yeah, because when you're such a great player, you just want. It's not that you want to get out when you're hot, but you just know when you just don't have it as much anymore.
Can you imagine Kobe coming off the bench? Like, what?
Exactly.
Like.
Unimaginable,
right?
Mike coming off the bench.
Mike didn't Mike come off the bench in Washington?
I don't think so.
No, I think he started in Washington.
He started?
You crazy?
Yeah, he was in the starting lineup.
You crazy?
That's crazy.
Those guys definitely had too big egos to.
I don't think
it's not even an ego,
I don't even think it's an ego. It's like you made that great of a career. Why am I coming off the bench? I'm out. Like this is y'all enjoy this game. I did everything already.
Right. He's not time already. Exactly.
Right. He's not gonna be a Udonis Haslem.
Who
signed another deal this year? I'm like, why? Like, why did you guys do
this? Because the mentality of the Heat is a whole team. I mean, they need
family.
Him. They need the presence. They need his energy, his leadership. I love what they have going down there in Miami.
But you have Iguodala.
I think we need more of that in Boston.
Absolutely. Hey, we have
Iguodala got there last year. He doesn't know anything about them yet.
Right. He's just getting into the culture.
Yeah, he's just getting into the culture.
Right. So another NBA news, LeBron says he's switching his number back to number 6 and giving Anthony Davis his number 23.
He was supposed to do
really?
it. He was supposed to do it last year, but I think Nike had printed the shirt.
They already had the sales.
Shit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, whatever, dude. I don't know why we got to do all that bullshit, but whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat, dude.
About that.
It's like, why you're LeBron? Why are you giving up anything? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think he just wants to. I think I commend LeBron actually for doing that. I think he wants to
make Anthony Davis happy.
Why not?
Right, that, and also I'm sure he probably wants to pass the torch. Maybe that's his way of passing the torch to AD.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. More news. No random marijuana testing for the NBA this season. So
J.R. Smith is gonna be the new marijuana commissioner,
designated blunt roller on the Lakers, the marijuana commissioner. That's funny. That's hilarious. No, that's gonna be Matt Barnes and Jackson. Steven Jackson.
Jackson.
Actually, Steven Jackson he sent out an Instagram. He's like, you guys are welcome. Duh. Like, that was funny. He's like, thanks to me and his buddy
Matt Barnes.
Yeah, thanks to me and Matt Barnes. You guys welcome. So I think Jaylen Brown was asked about it. And he answered it pretty professionally. Like, with all the stipulations they had to, agree to. He didn't think that was a big. He agreed with this too. He didn't have any problems with it. With everything that's gone on this year, guys might be stressed. They might have other ways. They can't go out to the clubs. They can't do a lot of shit. So listen, these guys are gonna be cooped up at home. They can't be at strip clubs. Don't tell James Harden because
Or Lou Williams.
Or Lou Williams. You
Yo,
know,
Pepper Lou, yeah.
Yo, I got a big bold prediction.
okay.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
J.R. Smith MVP.
Yeah.
This
No.
dude,
Oh,
this dude, he's gonna smoke a blunt before the game, at halftime, and after the game.
Bro, can you imagine? J.R. Smith already doesn't know what the hell the clock is saying or what possession it is. For him to be high on the fucking court, can you?
I'm telling you. He might be better high. You never know.
He might be more focused.
He might be.
Oh man.
No, I mean,
Maybe that's what was missing. Maybe that's what was missing.
right. He need that spinach, you know, that JR spinach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he needs to be on his Popeye for sure.
Honestly, it's like, come on, the league should just get rid of that stuff, period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If a guy doesn't have like complete problems with this, you know, he's walking into the facility smelling like this, you know what I mean? Smell like he just smoked. Like, if there's not those issues going on, why are we even regulating this? You know, there was a bill that passed in Congress that's gonna, you know, decriminalize marijuana at the federal level. So it's like, the country is changing, man. The times are changing. Like, let people do what they want to do. If it's not, you know, a detriment to your organization or to them or, you know, to the team, I don't think it should be a big deal. And, you know, hopefully those guys are responsible, whoever's doing it. You know what I'm saying? We know Dion Waiters is definitely not responsible with that stuff. So, you know, he should probably watch out because this dude's on edibles walking into practice and shit. Like, bro, you can't be doing that.
That too. That's why he freaking Miami had to trade and get him out of there. Because you're right, he was just too much. He was out of control, man. That guy's something else.
Yeah, for sure, man. And worse news, I guess, in the NBA, the Portland Trailblazers had to shut down their facilities due to COVID-19. 48 NBA players tested positive out of, you know, the whole NBA for coronavirus. So, you know, they're going into this season. They're not going to be in a bubble. Hopefully these guys are, you know, keeping safe and staying out of the way, you know, and it's just going to be hard, man. Just like football, if they're not going to have a bubble, we're going to see guys go down, man. We probably see a lot of games rescheduled, you know, a lot of double headers, a lot of back-to-backs, you know. Just brace yourself for it, you know. And lastly, for the NBA, Paul George made a interesting comment about Doc Rivers and his usage and the fact that, you know, Doc Rivers was using him kind of like, you know, Ray Allen and, you know, other players he's had on the team. I think what he says is, the way I was being used, I felt like Doc was trying to play me as Ray Allen or a J.J. Redick, all pin downs. I can do it, but that ain't my game. The last season was just hard overall. You know, and actually Doc came out today and was like, you know, the coach who is Ty Lue now. Ty Lue was sitting right next to me. It ain't going to be much different, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's funny. I just saw that. I posted it on ProFans_Sport Instagram. When he had that interview with whoever he had that interview with, when he said that, I was like,
All the Smoke podcast.
Right.
In Jackson, yeah.
And I posted about it, so I said, so what? Like, Doc Rivers is all of a sudden a bad coach because Paul George can't, you know, hit the fucking net? You know what I'm saying? Like, what'd you guys think about that? Did you guys feel any type of way?
I think people are blowing out proportion. He just said what he felt.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough position for him. It was his first year playing that kind of position. He's never been a pin down player. He's a point guard. Like he's played at earlier in his career at
he's a wing.
Indiana with the Pacers.
With the Pacers, he played point guard. So he's more with trying to create his own play. He's not over there waiting for the ball. I understand that, and he himself said, "I can do it. It just was hard." And I think everybody's just blowing out proportion. I don't think he said anything bad. He didn't say, "Oh, fuck Doc Rivers." He just said, I can do what he asked me to do. It's just not my preferred position.
Yeah, I have a bit of a problem with with what Paul George said. I mean, I get where he was coming from in terms of being used more as a spot up shooter or a guy that comes off the screen and and is a catch and shoot guy. But at the same time, I just think that he didn't really take much of accountability of the Clippers collapsing and his putrid performance in those games, and particularly the last 3 games, which he didn't show up and was straight garbage. And all 3 of those games that they lost to Denver when they were down 3-1, I would have just liked to see him take more responsibility, since he didn't really do his part in those games, and he left his team hanging and he let his team down.
Did you hear the whole interview?
No, I heard the interview and heard what he said.
I watched it.
Did you hear the whole interview?
Doc Rivers, and I didn't think that he should have called out Doc Rivers like
No. Did you hear the whole interview?
Not the whole interview.
So you don't know if he didn't take any accountability for what happened.
Yeah, but not enough though. Not
but
enough.
You know if you didn't hear it though.
No, I hear what you're saying, but
I just don't know if he did it. The only part I heard was that Doc Rivers stuff. You said you heard the interview, John?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
He didn't take accountability at all?
Not the kind he needs to.
Exactly. That's my point.
Okay.
Thank you, John. That's what I'm trying to say. That he as one of the main players and one of the main guys on the team should have said, yeah, you need to play better. I should have done more. I didn't help my team win, or I didn't do what what I needed to do in order to put us in a position to be successful and to be able to win that series. That's what I want him to come out and say, and not put Doc Rivers on blast as if, you know what I'm saying, it was Doc Rivers' fault that they lost that series instead of his fault that they lost that series, because the way he played in those games, guys, unacceptable. An all-star player of his caliber should never play that poorly in the playoffs in that game, many games in a row that he did against the Denver Nuggets. That is as bad as I've seen from any all-star player. Like, to me, the guy is the most overrated player in the league. Like Paul George, all this talk about Paul George being a great player and being a top 10 player or top 15 player, that talk needs to stop, because I've heard enough of it. And the guy just, you know what I'm saying, it was disappointing to hear those comments he made on that podcast, and I definitely don't agree with it at all, what he had to say. And I like Doc Rivers' response, to his comments, and I thought he, made the correct response that he should, towards Paul George.
Yeah, I mean, if he actually took accountability, best believe that clip would have been out too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Not necessarily. That's not how it works. People be putting the clips out there that's gonna get the
clickbait. The clickbait.
So
but
we know how that works.
The whole interview is out and nothing's come out. You know what I'm saying? And I watched it, and I mean, I like Paul George. You know what I'm saying? To be completely honest, and I don't think he's one of the most overrated players in the league. I think he had a bad stretch last year for sure. For me, I just like players to be more on the humble side. You know what I'm saying? Like Barry was saying, I didn't do what I had to do, because Doc Rivers coached you into a 3-1 lead.
Exactly.
So what are we talking about?
Get there in the first place. Exactly.
So the guy was coaching fine until there was no effort, in the games. You know what I'm saying? You could clearly see they had no effort in the last couple of games. You heard people like the way Kawhi Leonard was talking, to like a Reggie Jackson. I didn't give up the ball for that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like little shit like that seep into the team. You got to talk about, how Harrell, Therese, whatever his name is, Montrezl Harrell, and how and him and Lou Williams, the way they were talking about you guys, how you guys don't come to practice and you miss flights and you miss this and that, they should have been talking more about that stuff. But I just think for the way that Paul George performed, he should have never made those comments at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you could say, hey, I definitely like to be used in a different way. I didn't feel like, the way I was being used suit me too much, but
that's what he said. That's what he said.
Not the way he said it. He's like, he used me like he was Ray Allen or JJ Redick. It's like, why are you bringing people's names in there?
Because that's part of the way Doc coaches. Listen, I was the first one to call out Paul George last year when he was playing bad. I'm not defending Paul George. I'm just saying those comments are just being blown out of proportion. Then end up being a deal. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, they're not much of a deal at all. Just like it's just a bad look for you to even be mentioning that.
Exactly, it doesn't look good.
It's be like,
for real.
Hopefully next year that don't happen again. Let's you know what I'm saying. We had a bad end to the season that sucked. It is what it is. I'm gonna work harder to do what we got to do next year. But let's move on from that.
From him. Exactly.
Right. Let's move on from that. Some Celtics news for you guys. Kemba Walker, he received some stem cell injection in his knee. He'll be out, for training camp, preseason, the start of the season. He'll be out until at least January. So don't look for Kemba Walker. But, from his press conference, it seems like the injections are helping him out. And he says he feels good. And it's about, getting strength in the knee. But, who knows what the hell that means, because they always say good shit to butter you up. And then, they come in the game and then, after the season, they're like, yo, I played the whole season with a knee injury. It's like, bro, you were telling us you were good all season. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Always contradicting themselves. No,
right.
I think it's a big concern, John. For sure.
Right.
Hopefully things go well with this stem cell injection that he got, but I am extremely concerned about the health of Kemba Walker long-term for the Celtics without question, because this has been a reoccurring and ongoing issue since he pretty much came on the team. So hopefully this does the job, and and this will be good enough for him to be able to get back on the court when he's ready to do so, when he's healthy enough. But there's no question that Kemba Walker's knee is very alarming, and it's just not a good sign for the Celtics this season moving forward.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it's not a nagging injury.
Well, it is a nagging injury.
No, like all year, if he takes care of whatever he's saying, he can't come back, and for him to be on time management for the rest of the year, that's like, if I'm him, dude, take 3 months off. Like, if you can't come back and be 100%, and we still have to manage, your time. It's like, dude, take the time off, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't trust that shit, man.
I don't either.
If it's not surgery,
why didn't he just go for the surgery?
Because they're advising him not to.
That's ridiculous. Like,
we can't say it's ridiculous. We're not the doctors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not.
They're telling him, yo, don't. It's not worth it.
You don't have to, or it's not worth it. Like,
yeah.
Like you said, we're not doctors, so it is what it is. Tristan Thompson, he will also miss the preseason and most of training camp due to a hamstring injury. That's an injury we knew about that before we actually signed him. So we knew about that. Daniel Tice, he's a full go since he underwent surgery on his knee, so he can do everything. He says he's ready to go and on the court. Evan Turner returns. I don't know if you guys remember Evan Turner. For the people that follow the Celtics, you should know Evan Turner because he's a big, I don't know, he's like a cult hero around here, like T was saying.
Cult hero?
Yeah, when he was here, dude, like, him in the robes You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes. I remember that, John. I know what you're talking
Celtics fans fall in love with the dumbest shit.
The weirdest motherfuckers, yo. Like, you know,
They do. That's fact.
Scalabrini got a job because of the Celtics fans. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Scalabrini is gonna be the new Tommy Heinsohn.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for Skal. Skal is actually pretty good, but
I like him too.
As far as Evan Turner, I actually think it's a good pickup. I think it's gonna be a little bit like Haslam, a little bit of that. I think that's gonna be good for. I'd say that's gonna be a good presence for those players.
Right. So he's gonna be an assistant coach for the team, and he's gonna be a player develop. He's gonna be in the player development department, pretty much taking the role of Carol Lawson from last year, who's now coaching the Duke women's team. So shout outs to her too. And lastly, with the Celtics, I don't know if you guys have been listening to Danny Ainge and Brad Steven talk about the upcoming season when it comes to Campbell Walker's injury. And I think what's interesting is, I've heard a couple times now Danny Ainge has said that, with Kemba out, it's going to be up to Marcus Smart, Jeff Teague, and Peyton Pritchard to pick up the slack. And, what's unique about that is Peyton Pritchard, because he's a rookie, the rookie point guard, and they did not talk about Tremont Waters, who we drafted last year, or Carson Edwards, who we drafted also last year. Did you guys pay attention to that? Have you guys looked up Peyton Pritchard at all?
Not since the draft.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at his highlights, but I've heard that people have spoken highly of him. NBA people, like Danny Ainge among others, have already, praised him and, pretty much say that they like what they see in him. So, we'll see how he turns out. It's, too early to tell as far as whether he'll, have an immediate impact or, have a big role on, the team and be in the rotation instantly. I'd like to see that happen, but I think it just, time will tell, as far as whether, that ends up happening and whether we see him, really begin to thrive, with Kemba Walker. I'm sure he's going to get more opportunities and more playing time, with the Celtics being shorthanded at point guard at the beginning of the season. But, hopefully he looks good in training camp and does well in the preseason and impresses the coaches to be able to, earn that opportunity to be able to get those minutes.
Yeah, man. Personally, I've been watching him, man, and you know what I like to say: watch the tape, bro. Just watch the tape. Watch the tape. It's not just his highlight tape, man. I watched some games too from him, and I definitely when he first got drafted, I was like, who, like, why, we, But then I looked at his tapes, man, and I'm definitely impressed, with everything that he's done in college, with his background, with everything that he's done. And like I said, in the last podcast, he's just a kid that's not scared. And I actually thought, when he got drafted, after I did my research, that, this is probably a kid that's gonna, contribute, pretty early on in his rookie year. So, good luck to him. From what I heard, he's already got the playbook down. He takes his job pretty serious, and he looks at it as a professional. And that's one of the things about him. So, whoever can help us, man, I'm good with them. He's a guy that can bust the threes, man. He can create space shooter, man, and bust a three, man.
I've seen those tapes. That boy, man, he's got a jump shot, man. He definitely can splash him for sure, and definitely the playmaking ability I like as well. He can create and facilitate. Very smart player. Has good court vision, sees the floor well, and doesn't turn the ball over. Takes care of the ball. That's what I like about him as well, and what I've noticed from what I've seen so far of him. So we need a guy like that, because we didn't have too many guys particularly coming off the bench that could do that for us. So I'm hoping that he provides a spark, and he can bring those things to the table as well, because we certainly need that coming off our bench this year.
That's a fact, man. And that's going to be it for the NBA and the Celtics coverage. For MLB, we got very little.
Before we move on to MLB, breaking news: the Washington football team beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and ended their undefeated season.
Holy shit!
The Washington football team beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 23-17.
Wow!
All right, let's move on to MLB.
MLB real quick, the only news we got right now as far as the Red Sox goes is the Red Sox agreed to a contract with Eduardo Rodriguez for a 1 year, $8.3 million contract. If you guys remember, we reported about him. He was the guy who had COVID-19 and had a lot of complications from it. I personally thought he was going to be gone. He was going to be done with his career, but he's back with the team, and Alex Cora likes him a lot. So good luck to him, and I hope he can return back to form. Right, and that's going to be it for MLB. That was pretty quick. And we're going to jump right into soccer, where Vlad, please talk to us, man.
Yes. So last week we went over the New England Revolution doing really well in the playoffs. They made it to the MLS semifinal. On Sunday, the New England Revolution faced the Columbus Crew, and the Columbus Crew eliminated the New England Revolution 1-0. It was a great game. Both teams were attacking each other. The New England Revolution just couldn't close it out, man. They spent the game. They had a lot of good opportunities, but they just couldn't make the best of those opportunities. And sometimes when you're playing soccer, what happens is when you're not scoring like that, you kind of forget about some of your teammates. So you try to make it all yourself. And I think all they needed to do is make the extra passes, and they weren't making the extra passes in front of the ball to get the open shot. Unfortunately, that's what happened. But I just want to give you guys. I just want to give an update of the MLS final. Give me 1 minute here. So obviously, the Columbus Crew is gonna be in the final. And today, on Monday, the Seattle Sounders are gonna play Minnesota. So the final is gonna be on Saturday, December 12th at 8 p.m. It's gonna be Columbus Crew versus either the Seattle Sounders or Minnesota.
What happens? What else happens on December 12th?
Yes, the Pope and 12 podcast are gonna be on something Bishop Ave in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
That's it. 76
Yes, sir.
Bishop Allen Drive, Cambridge, Mass. Pull up, come get some gear. And you know what? If you come through and we don't have products for you, you can give us your name and we'll make sure we get you some stuff, man, at a later date. So
make sure y'all drive from out of state. All our listeners from across the world, if you need to fly into Boston, do what you gotta do to come see us.
Right, I thought you were gonna say we got you. I'm like, no, we don't.
Like gonna go there too. No,
right.
I'm just saying, if y'all really want to see us, make the drive, take that flight.
Right. And was that it for soccer?
Yeah, that's it for soccer.
And lastly, something we don't really talk about too much on this podcast is boxing. A big boxing match actually happened on Saturday. It was Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia, and Errol Spence won by unanimous decisions. He pretty much took it, 9-3 rounds. Errol Spence, I don't know if people are paying attention. He's been out of boxing for the last 14 months because after he won his last fight, he got into a really horrific car accident where he flipped his Ferrari and almost died. So for him to come back, he almost died. Like his face was unrecognizable type stuff. And his face was all scraped and burnt, and for him to come back and look like himself and dominated the other guy who's not a slouch himself, that was great for him. And
good for him. That's awesome, John. That's
for
great.
For sure. Now I'm looking for him to fight Terrence Crawford because they need to make that fight happen. But he's probably gonna fight like a Manny Pacquiao or something. Speaking of Pacquiao, his counterpart, he's the money team, the guy with the money team. He's deciding to come back for an exhibition against somebody who's not an actual boxer. His name is Logan Paul, who's actually the brother of Jake Paul, who knocked out Nate Robinson a couple weeks ago. The last fight Logan Paul fought, he faced KSI, who is another YouTuber, and he lost that fight. So I don't understand what's going on. This is definitely a cash grab. I don't know who's buying the fight, but if you are, you're pretty much giving Floyd Mayweather your hard-earned money to play around with some dude that's not even a real boxer. So he's probably going to make at least $20 million off of that stuff because people want to see that guy get knocked out, which I don't understand because it's like, it's weird. It's weird to me. So, be on the lookout for that. That's going to be actually on February 20th. So you'll see a lot of stuff going on. We're going to move on to questions of the week. And we got a few questions. I think some questions we actually already answered. So I'm going to start off with that. And that question is from Adrian Meck from Northampton, Mass. And his question is, what does Vlad or you guys think the Revs need to do to make it all the way to the finals? And obviously Vlad already gave us the update on that. But Vlad, I want you to pretty much explain, like, what can they build on after this year, like to make sure they make it back to make sure they make it over the hump?
Well, this year was definitely an overachieving year for the New England Revolution. So I think that's a great confidence. I think they got playoff experience, and I think they have a coach that has great experience. And I think the Crafts are looking to invest in the team. So I think just based on that, they're gonna build on the experience that they had in the playoffs appearances, the almost final appearance that they made.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add to that unless Barry, because I don't know what the personnel is like on the Revolution, so I'm sure Vlad is right. But I thought actually we were low key gonna get another chip in Massachusetts. I'm like, I'm not even gonna say anything, so I don't jinx it. We're gonna get another chip, and I actually watched the game with my roommate, and that sucks that they didn't make it to the finals, but nevertheless a good season for them. So shout outs to the Revs, man, for sure. And Adrian Meck, thank you. Our buddy
Adrian Meck, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, another guy that's always sending us questions, man. I love it. So shout outs to Eddie Rodriguez. He says, you already know. Without Bud Dupree, do you think the Steelers defense can continue to be dominant against Alex Smith as well? And again, Vlad just burst the bubble because he gave us the breaking news. The Steelers lost their first game, and I'm assuming the defense had something to do with that as well. So
well, Washington played well. Alex Smith played well, and the Washington football team intercepted Big Ben
Roethlisberger,
on their last drive. So it was actually Washington played really well. What I think the Steelers are going to use as an excuse is the short week, they're gonna say that the Ravens has had an extra day. We had to play on Monday, so you're gonna hear all the excuses this week.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I think but certainly they're gonna miss Bud Dupree, who was their star, inside linebacker and really the leader and the captain of that defense. And one of their best defensive players. So I think, like as we saw today against the Washington football team, and against Alex Smith. They certainly miss his presence out there and his playmaking ability, and also his leadership as well. Alex Smith was able to have a really good game and be successful against the Steelers, defense and move the ball effectively. So I think, it's definitely a concern for the Steelers, and for all Steelers fans to see that today, that they, didn't play as well without Bud Dupree. So, hopefully they can figure that out as far as how to fill that void with him being gone for the rest of the season. But, no, definitely shout out to the Washington football team for coming up with the big win today and, for beating the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think the Steelers defense is a dominant bunch, man.
No, they've been playing well though.
I know Barry, but they haven't been playing like the greatest teams this year. You know what I'm saying? Like their schedule has not been like the greatest schedule, and they've struggled against some teams too. I don't think
you can only play who's on the schedule. Though.
When you hear dominant defense, I think a defense that's holding you down. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much all game, you're not close. None of that. That when you say dominant defense, I think about Patriots defense last year. You know what I'm saying? Where we're clearly, some people won fantasy leagues based off of Patriots defense last year. You know what I'm saying? That's a dominant defense. So it's certainly going to hurt them, I think you should say a good defense. I think they're a really good defense, but dominant, they lost to the Titans, by a missed field goal, earlier. They won against the Titans by a missed field goal, earlier on during the year. So I don't think like they've been like, that crazy defense that's just coming through and shutting down people. So with Bud Dupree being gone, that's definitely going to hurt them because, that whenever you lose one of your starters, it definitely hurts, And can they continue? Hopefully, but what's happening right now, they're not trending in the right direction because you saw the game against the Ravens. They played like trash.
Right. They didn't even play well that game.
And Mike Tomlin said, we sucked. You know what I'm saying? And then now you turn around and this week you lose this game, so, they're not trending up right now. So, I don't want to see them, they're going to make the playoffs. I don't want to see them like lose every game or anything like that. But I didn't think their record said exactly what the team was, I didn't think they were like that great of a undefeated team. I think they were an opportunistic team and they did what they had to do. But that's my answer. Another question from Aaron Lawrence. I think that's the first one. He's from Houston, Texas. And his question is, with Will Fuller being out the rest of the season, do you think that he will come back to the Texans next season? And his secondary question was, the Houston Rockets signed Christian Wood and DeMarcus Cousins, as well as, John Wall. Where do you see the Rockets going this year? You want to go, Vlad, take the first one about Will Fuller? You think he's coming back?
Is he a restricted free agent this year or something?
Yeah, he is a free agent. This is a contract year for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think this is gonna be his first like money contract, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna go wherever the money is.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer to that. As far as the Rockets, I think the Rockets are gonna be in the playoffs next year. I think they're gonna be maybe 6-7 seed. 6-7. That's where I see them next year. How far they gonna go in the playoffs? They can win one. They can win one round. I
They
can
can
see
win a
that.
series.
Yeah, they can win one. Yeah, they can win a series.
The same as last year, winning the
Yeah,
series.
yeah. But honestly, I mean, we don't know. We don't know what the chemistry is gonna be like. We don't know what John Wall we're gonna get. We don't know if we don't even know if your star player is gonna play for you. He might get traded. He might get traded. He hasn't showed up to 2 practices. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you, Aaron. All I'm gonna say is you're definitely gonna make the playoffs and you're gonna win one round. But besides that, I cannot guarantee anything else.
Yeah, I think with Will Fuller, being suspended for the rest of the season, as we, I had said on earlier in this podcast, I had certainly hurts him in free agency since not only is he going to be out for the rest of the season, but he's also going to miss the first game of next year. I think he does have a good chance of coming back with the Texans for next year, since him and Deshaun Watson had some pretty good chemistry, and he was balling and doing his thing before the suspension. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a more lucrative offer if he ends up leaving Houston and going somewhere else. So I mean, I had to, put a gun to my head and say, which way is he going to go, I'd probably say re-sign with Houston. But, we never know with, what happens in free agency and what, players decide to do and what offers they get. So we'll see what happens once free agency comes next year and if he sees any offers that he likes. So, we'll see how that goes. As far as the Rockets are concerned, I think, they're certainly a playoff team in the West, but, the West is just stacked and way too competitive. I think, certainly they'll make the playoffs and they'll be in the bottom half, what Vlad said, the bottom half of the Western Conference for this season. But I don't even see as much talent as there in the West and as much good teams as the West. I don't see them being a top team in the West. So I'm gonna even say that they're one and done this year, guys, and that they don't even make it out of the first round, and that they lose to whoever they play in the first round, just because the teams in the West that are at the top are far much better than the Houston Rockets right now, because like you said, there's just too many unknowns and too much uncertainty with the Houston Rockets roster as far as what John Wall we're going to get. Guy hasn't played in 2 years. The same with DeMarcus Cousins. He hasn't played in a couple years. We don't know what we're going to get from him and if those guys are going to be the same players. I like Christian Wood. He's a good player and played well last year with the Pistons. So he's a nice addition. And also James Harden, he's another guy that it looks like he wants out of there and he's pushing for a trade and doesn't want to be in Houston anymore. So he certainly looks like he has 1 foot out the door. So we'll see if he's actually able to, if he does stay with the Rockets, if he's, able to actually play with John Wall and play with those other guys that are on the team, and if they're able to mesh, on the court right away, or if it takes them a long time to do so. So we'll see how that goes for them this season. But I don't think the Rockets are going to go too far in the Western Conference playoffs this year.
Yeah. As far as Will Fuller goes, unless Deshaun Watson begs him, he's out of there. All right, he's gone. If you remember, before the trade deadline, the Packers actually wanted Will Fuller, and Will Fuller was waiting to get out of there in Texas. I think he's most likely out because Texans have nothing going for them other than Deshaun Watson. They haven't done anything to help Deshaun Watson at all. So I think if he wants to win in this league, he's gonna leave. You know, if the Packers are still interested, I guarantee you he's gonna go over there. You know, but then again, some players from the Packers have emerged, and he might not even have a spot there. So also watch out for a team like the Patriots. You know, they're gonna look to
Ooh,
revamp their roster. Yeah, they're gonna look to revamp their rosters, and the Patriots are gonna have some of the most money in the league to sign players come next offseason. So,
You're
absolutely.
insane if you think the Patriots are gonna sign Will Fuller.
I mean, they were thinking about it this year. You know what I'm saying? They were looking at him for trade deadline too.
Trading is different, though.
Right. No. I'm saying like he's a player they like, and
Yeah,
you saw what he did against us.
They're gonna give more. Somebody's gonna give him more money than Belichick will ever give him.
Absolutely. That's what always happens every offseason, And as far as the Rockets, I agree with you guys. 6, 7 seed. DeMarcus Cousins just coming back. We don't know if he's going to stay healthy. John Wall, we're not guaranteed for him to stay healthy. The only good piece in there is Christian Wood, and I know Christian Wood. He's coming from Detroit, and I know of him because the Celtics were looking at him. So I looked at his tape, and he's actually a decent little player. With that said, he's not a good enough player to help James Harden go anywhere in the playoffs in the West. You know what I'm saying? He's just like a complimentary piece, a good piece to go on a championship team to play his role and do what he do. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to come in and take over the game or anything like that. So I don't know who else is coming in to do that. And he's, we got John Wall and James Harden, ball dominant. And right now, James Harden is not even showing up to practice. So what's the team chemistry going to be like at the end of the day? His mom came out and said all he wants to do is win a ring. He wants a chance at the ring, basically hinting at the fact that James Harden wants to leave. So, with that already in mind, the season's already not starting off to, on a great foot. The coach is making statements saying Harden is, having a holdout. When they told him that Harden said that he'd show up to camp soon, he was like, well, it's news to me. Nobody talked to me about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not a good look to start your season, going through turmoil and stuff like that. But that's my answer. Thank you all the guys that send in questions. We appreciate you.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it.
Keep sending questions, and now we're going to go into the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, man.
So, yes, the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is a player who had a really good season last year. He just got a max extension deal last week, and that would be Miami Heat center Bam Adebayo. Like I was saying, he signed a 5-year, $195 max contract extension like Jason Tatum did, but that's not the reason why he is the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. So the reason why he got selected as the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week this week is because he just gave his mom the birthday present of a lifetime this past Sunday, in which he was able to buy his mom, her own house with, that contract money he just got from the Miami Heat. So it was after with this, stood out to me about this was that he didn't really come from much, and his family really struggled, during his childhood. So he pretty much was living in a single wide trailer, and his mom brought him up in. So the family never really owned anything and owned a home. So I thought it was pretty cool for a guy like that really came, from nothing and was, legit a rags to riches stories, and legit started from the bottom and, was able to, give back to his mother and give back to his family and never forgot where he came from, because you see a lot of guys once they make it and once they get their deal, their big contract, they spend it unwisely and on things they shouldn't spend it on, and they forget where they came from and don't give back to their people and their families. So the fact that he did that, and pretty cool thing is that at the house, the new house that he just bought for his mother, they have a picture of them inside that trailer that he grew up in. They had it legit right in the front door of the house. So as soon as you walk in, you see that picture right at the door. And he says he, purposely kept it there to always remind himself, as well as anybody that walks in the house, that, where he came from, and that, and what kind of upbringing he had. So I certainly thought that was impressive for him to do that, and it shows the kind of character and the kind of person he is, and the way he was able to humble himself to be able to give back to his mother in that way. So congrats to Bam Adebayo on being this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and that's definitely that B Money lifestyle.
No, that's a fact, man. I think that's something all of us here would like to do someday, right?
Absolutely,
drive our mothers out some random place and just say, hey, that's your house. You're staying here tonight. You know what I'm saying? So all your stuff is being moved. All your stuff is being moved in here by the night, So welcome home type stuff. So, congrats to him for sure.
That's his dream for sure.
And, for the last time, people, pop-up shop, December 12th, 76 Bishop Allen Drive, Cambridge, Mass. We're going to be there. Come get your gear. Come get your shirts, hoodies, masks, bottles, coffee mugs, travel mugs. Come talk to us. Come hang out. Let's talk sports, man. If anything, come argue with us about some sports. Come
exactly. Come chop it up with the.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. And as always, man, thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're still watching, please subscribe. Please share this with your friends. Do whatever you can, man, to help us get the word out there, because we're working hard for y'all, and we appreciate that, man. And that's going to be it for Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go, episode 38. Until next time, peace out.
Peace. See you Saturday, guys.